Welcome to the Geriatric Millennials. This is Beth.
And this is Jayme.
And we're just two oldish, youngish ladies talking about things we loved in 2023.
Yes, the best of 2023.
Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very excited because this is really where I shine. It's in entertainment. I was telling Jayme I'm chronically online and am here to share. So
yes.
Like we're sharing movies, books, podcasts, TV shows, anything and everything.
How did you even narrow down this list?
This is all I do in life. Like I work and then I seek out ways to escape from my current surroundings.
Well, I cannot wait to hear your list.
I'm kind of excited. I realize I don't watch a ton of movies anymore. Like I'll watch a few, but I used to go to the theater all the time. I used to go rent every movie that came out. When I lived in Chicago, across the street was like a local DVD rental place. And I would go in there like every Friday and get a couple rentals. And it was just so nice. I kind of miss that. I miss the Blockbuster. I was
going to say, that reminds me of Blockbuster back in the day.
Yeah.
My husband and I, that's what we did on the weekend. I mean, we would go to literally the Blockbuster
and peruse.
Store and peruse and all of that. And then remember Netflix? Remember when Netflix would mail you DVDs?
Yes. It was just a different feel with the physical media. Like,
it was.
Like, I feel like sometimes I'm just scrolling endlessly trying to find something. And I'm like, I've spent an hour just adding stuff to my watch list or being like, that looks good. And then not watching it. Where it's like, I mean, if you did that at the Blockbuster, at least you were like running into people and trying to find cute boys, that kind of thing.
Well, and I'm with you though, as far as watching. I don't watch movies. I don't watch movies anymore. I mean,
I feel like I have to be too engaged. It's too much of a commitment. Now, like a 25 episode series, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll just watch a couple more. No commitment. As it's like popping.
Do you think our attention span has been altered?
I don't think so. I just think that I don't know. It just.
Why don't you think so? Because you don't want it to be?
I think it's because I like the shorter storytelling.
Yeah, that would be your attention span.
No,
right?
No, I like things to be completed faster.
Yeah.
No, well, I don't think, no, because it's like, I like that I can watch. So a movie is 2 hours. Cool. I'll watch it. I'm in it. But I like it when there's more of a story to tell. Because a lot of movies, it's like, oh, that was good. But it would have been nice if it had more, like Harry Potter series. Oldie, but a goodie.
Yeah.
Love it. Watch it all the time. But it's like it's missing a lot from the books or it's missing a lot of details. And so I like the fact that a lot of TV shows now have more details and whatever. And so it's like I get more involved into the story. It's like more of an investment that way. But I like the fact that I'm like, okay, I can watch 2 episodes, turn it off, go do life, come back. Where, sometimes a movie's like 3 hours long and it doesn't feel like as easy to just stop it. Yeah. And go do life. Because it's like, now I'm out of it.
Also, I think for me, it's attention span too. Because I'm just like, oh, just get on with it already. Like, just finish the story. I mean, I've just got other stuff to do, I guess. I don't know. I'm like, I want to go to bed. I want to go to bed.
I like an intermission. Yeah. It's that whole thing of like, oh, I can watch a really great TV show for an hour and it's amazing. Or if I'm trying to watch a movie at night, it's like, well, this is like 2.5 hours. And if I get into it, I'm going to be up too late. So it's more of that time commitment than it is like, I can't pay attention. Because if I'm in a movie, I'll be in it. Like, I am focused, but it's just the time commitment.
That's what it is for me too. And so, because by the time we get around to actually having time to watch something, I'm just like, I want to be asleep.
Yeah. At that time. I do love a 90-minute movie though. A 90-minute movie is kind of like chef's kiss because they went out of fashion or movies under like just at like over an hour because that's just not. I feel like movies just kept getting longer and longer and longer. But every once in a while you find one it's like under 90 minutes and it's like, oh, that was perfect because you get the full story. But it's not like, oh, okay, it's 2.5, 3 hours for this movie.
Yeah.
Okay. But speaking of movies, I have a bunch. I know you probably
I
don't
have 2.
Perfect. So I will give a couple to start. First is very popular right now, Leave the World Behind on Netflix, starring Julia Roberts. It's like this whole thing where there's an unexplained event and these people are in a rental house and a couple or a father and his daughter come to the rental house and they're like, hey, this is our house. I can't remember what the excuse was to get into the house, but they get in and they spend the night there. And then the family's kind of thrown together in this place where it's like kind of like the end of the world.
Oh.
And they're trying to figure out what's going on. And it's just a very interesting story. And it kind of makes you think about like, people were kind of toting this as like, oh my gosh, like this is really like, Obama was a producer and he went in and I saw a TikTok. I don't know if it was true or not, but this girl was going off about how he was using some of the knowledge he has as president to kind of show like what would happen if somebody did a covert attack on the United States and what it could be like and how they would dismantle our government and stuff in a way that's not obvious, like Red Dawn or things like that, which is a classic movie that has been remade, if you didn't know. In the original Red Dawn, starring Patrick Swayze and Charlie Sheen, it's in the 80s. Jennifer Grey was in there too from Dirty Dancing. And basically like enemy forces invade the United States and they go to this small town and take it over and they kind of do this crazy thing. But it was really good. Loved it. The modern version was set in Spokane, Washington. So There you go.
Interesting.
You're welcome. Another movie I love, Elemental. Did you watch that? It's a Pixar film.
You're asking me. Oh, no, but I did see a preview.
Okay.
Is this where they burst into flames?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that.
The way it was marketed was so interesting because like there's like this little grubby guy that's, I don't know, he's like represents Earth. And I think on TikTok, they kind of pushed him to the forward. And even though he's not really that involved in the movie, but the movie is really about an immigrant family and what it takes to be an immigrant family. And like this family owns a business and the daughter's been raised, in the business and is expected to take it over. And just how does that family dynamic work and with changing times and expectations. And anyway, it was really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that recommendation. Yep. Okay. Again, don't watch movies very much, but I did watch a movie and I watched this same movie twice. And one of the times was with you.
Oh gosh.
Barbie. Yes, it was so good. I loved Barbie.
It was really cute.
I loved the Barbie movie. So I have that on my best of 2023. We have a whole podcast episode discussing it.
Yes.
Because it wasn't just a typical, like you would think a Barbie movie would be, because there are cartoon Barbie movies. Yeah. This is not that at all.
No.
And it's not a kid's movie. Although I did watch it with two of my kids. Talked about that in that episode as well. So there's a lot of themes in this movie that were deep. And I appreciated the movie. I enjoyed it. I thought there's been multiple conversations I've had about it with different people. And so I recommend it.
Awesome.
I enjoyed it. I loved it. In fact, I dressed up as Barbie for Halloween, not any of the movie Barbies.
No, you were the best Barbie though.
Thank
you were
you.
Dance Club Barbie, and it was you did such a good job. We're gonna post a picture because it was so.
It was on point.
Cute. You looked like her.
I think I did,
and I think with a Halloween full of Barbies, you were a standout Barbie because it was different.
It was.
Okay, I know you don't have a ton, so I'm gonna give a couple more.
Yeah,
The Wrath of Becky, which is the sequel to Becky, about this little girl who it was born to be an assassin, basically. In the first movie, her family's going away to their cabin. For whatever reason, she has like some key or something she found in the cabin that this like horrible neo-Nazi like insurgent leader wants. And so they come to the cabin to get it. And then she retaliates against all these grown men. And she's like 12 years old. And in The Wrath of Becky, another thing happens where she's interceded always by like horrible, like the scary militia white supremacy guys.
Oh, geez.
And she goes off against them again. And it's just like, it's gory and gross and not for everybody. But I love a good revenge story. And I've always fantasized about being like an agent for good.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah.
Okay, so do you think that you need to watch the first Becky in order to appreciate or understand the second one?
You don't have to watch it, but I would recommend. Okay. The first one's a little bit better than the second, but the second one's really good too.
Okay.
And it really does make you think like, could I buck up? You're like, absolutely not. I would die immediately. The next one is one that was from Netflix called Nimona or Simone. I don't know the pronunciation, but it's like an animated film. And it's in the future, but they still have knights and some magic and stuff. And these knights protect this realm.
Oh, knights. Like K-N-I.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yes.
Okay.
And so they like do not dueling, but the jousting and things like that. And I don't want to give too much away, but it's really cute. And it's a story about redemption and clearing your name. And it's just really beautiful. Super funny. and I've watched it twice, which is shocking for a new movie.
So that sounds like it might be one I could watch with my kids.
I think it was fine. Like, I can't remember anything that is super like inappropriate.
Well, I was going to say I'm always on the lookout for a good family movie, which isn't true anymore because we hardly ever watch family movies either. But I am kind of on the lookout. Like if I hear of one, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to put that on the back burner list of when we have an opportunity. The part of the reason we're not doing family movies hardly ever anymore is because my kids are doing sports and there's games and there's all these things that happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
During the time that we used to watch a movie, or I have my own activity, which is dancing, which I mean, if there's going to be an event, it's going to be on a Friday night or Saturday night, which is prime family movie night time. And so
also like you have kids at very different stages.
Yes. And my oldest is just like, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that. Or he wants to go hang out with his friends or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, I will still watch a movie with a couple of my kids. It's just hard to have the entire family together for a movie night anymore.
This one, I could see it working for all ages. Okay. It was really well done. I liked the animation. That is not a word. The animation was really good.
It should be a word. I knew what you meant.
Yeah, that's my lot in life. But yeah, I thought it was different and cute. And anyway, it was good. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Also a movie I saw in the theater. Because apparently that's where I watch movies.
Yes.
A couple times a year.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. I just thought of another one.
There you go.
Oh, okay. So I do have another one after this. But this isn't a typical movie because it's the Eras Tour.
Oh, that's funny.
The Taylor Swift concert, Eras Tour movie. It was fantastic because I went with my daughter. We didn't get to go to a Taylor Swift concert, which would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But I tell you, watching it on the big screen like this was, in my opinion, just as good, if not better, than going to the concert in some ways because the view was great.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in a comfortable chair and we could really enjoy it.
Yes.
And I'm sure we would enjoy a live concert. Don't get me wrong. But if I'm going to watch a concert, like doing it like that was great.
Yeah.
In the theater, big screen, the sound was great. And it was like experiencing her concert in a way. And it was amazing. She's an incredible performer. There was songs in this that I hadn't actually listened to. And since I watched this movie with my daughter, it has been a constant stream of Taylor Swift songs in the car ever since.
Love that. So my next movie, though, is Beyonce's Renascence concert.
Yes.
Which I went and saw on a Thursday night at 7 p.m., not knowing it was a 3-hour long concert and having to work the next day. So it was a real rough one for me. But I loved it because she did a lot of behind the scenes on how it came together, and just seeing how she works is insane.
Oh, see, that's different because the Eras Tour one was just the concert. We saw zero behind the scenes.
No, this was kind of like how it all came together and really talking about all the elements.
I want to see that.
Very reminiscent, if you've seen it on Netflix, her Homecoming concert.
I think I have actually.
And it's when she did Coachella or Baychella, whatever. And just it had so much of the behind the scenes that it was fascinating to see like how she creates.
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
behind
it
the
was
scenes
really
stuff.
good. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah. What's your last movie that you just remembered?
Oh, the one that I just remembered. Wait, did I do this last year on our best of? It's possible. Because I watched it on Christmas last year. It was the Avatar, the second one.
Oh my gosh, Jayme.
I think I did that last year.
That's funny.
It's funny because I was like, talking about watching movies in the theater. And apparently that's what we do around Christmas.
Yeah.
We go to a movie and we went to the second Avatar movie. It was amazing, in my opinion. So creative. What's your face? Why are you looking at me like that?
I mean, nothing. I'm not an Avatar girly as far as story and
girly. Does this make me an Avatar girly? Because I like
you are dressed in blue right now.
What?
No, I didn't know why you came to my house with face paint, but I was like, okay, we're just gonna go.
I do not have face paint on.
Yeah, I actually fell asleep during it, and I couldn't get it back together.
I'm an Avatar girly.
No,
apparently.
you're not. No, you're not an Avatar girly.
I just like the movie because I saw it.
Yeah. I believe you.
Okay, what's yours?
That was it. So
what?
I know. I
thought this
limited my TV list is significantly longer.
Oh, okay, good.
So we're gonna transition to TV. But when I tell you, you're gonna know some of the stuff on my list. Number 1, Sister Wives. Okay.
Yeah. That hasn't
we are
changed.
still in Sister Wives. They have been giving us so much additional content this year. Like we just ended like with a 4-part like breaking things down, and now they have this whole thing where they're going and they do a look back episode where the family watches like an early episode and they comment on it, which is fascinating. And then they're doing like a talk back episode where they're answering fans' questions and things. And they've been giving us like 2 a week. It's amazing. All leading up to Christine, who left the family, her wedding to her fiance, now husband, David. So it is great. It is the best timing ever, Jayme, because Christine's wedding episodes are like right in the 1st of January. And then you know what pops off? Vanderpump Rules. We're right back into Vanderpump Rules. Your girl is happy as a clam.
Yeah.
Happy.
I can see it.
Happy. I just did a rewatch of the last season of Vanderpump over the holiday. And I was just, this is where I belong. Okay. I belong in Sister Wives. I belong in Vanderpump, not on the shows, but just watching them and being way too, enmeshed and ingrained in these people's lives that have no idea who I am. The parasocial relationship is strong. So those are
Love it. Keep going.
Those are my stuff. Okay. Another one.
Because I have 0 in TV because I didn't watch
girl,
any.
I'm
Just
gonna give
go through
you
your
something
list.
good. Love is Blind. We've talked about this. You watched season 1.
I did when I had COVID. This was years ago. I wanted to watch the next season, and I don't know how
haven't.
many there are since then.
4.
OMG.
Yeah. The last season was a train wreck and I freaking loved it. Every season now I'm like, I'm not going to watch this crap. It's not as good as it was. And I just watch it. So.
Love is Blind. This is the one where they're in the pods?
In the pods.
Okay.
Dating, and then they get married sight unseen, kind of, are engaged. And then it just the shenanigans. And this last one, there was a lot of drama, which I liked. Kind of switching gears from, what is this called?
Reality TV?
Reality TV. A new series I just discovered, Wolf Like Me, starring Isla Fisher and Josh Gad. I think that's how they say their names. Anyway, it is about a woman who's a werewolf, and she meets this guy, and it is, I mean, you would think that's stupid, out of my realm. It is so funny. I don't know why I like it so much. I don't even usually like comedies.
Did somebody recommend this to you? How did you even find it?
I found it. It's a Hulu original. And so I was just like, what's this? And I like that girl. I always get her confused with Amy Adams, but I like that girl. So, and I like the guy. He did a bunch of stuff during COVID where he would like reunite different movie franchises. So he brought like the Goonies back together during COVID to
no
like
wonder
talk
you
about
like
stuff.
that guy.
He did a lot of good things for us when we had, we're having trials and tribulations, but it's just really good. Totally switching gears is this show called Fargo, which there's a movie called Fargo, and there's a TV
Is it
series.
related to the movie at all?
I've never seen the movie. I think it's related as in like it's weird and they have accents, but it's like
It's not like the same story or something.
It's not, it's a different story, and it's interesting because I think there's four series now of this, but each one it's kind of its own standalone series. But this one stars the girl from Ted Lasso, the one that is the marketing queen.
Oh, okay.
And it's just so engaging, and I'm just and
Keely.
Jennifer Jason Leigh's in it, and I'm just like, why am I? And John Hamm, I'm like, why am I loving this? It's totally bizarro, but I'm so into it. Classics from this year, The Last of Us, based on a video game, starring. Remember we were talking about the daddy, Pedro Pascal, and how he's a daddy.
Yeah.
I think stars him.
I think my husband's watched this.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. I did just think of I thought of one. I
yay.
thought of one.
Okay, I have 4 more.
Okay.
Silo, which is on Apple Plus, and it's based on a book series, which I started reading the books, but it didn't click, so I need to go back to it. But it's basically like something happened, and everybody lives underground in this silo, and they don't know why. They've kind of lost their history, and just kind of like the ins and outs of that, and how there's trouble brewing, and people are asking questions, and what's going to happen. It was very good. Queen Charlotte, which is a spinoff from Bridgerton, have you seen Bridgerton?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I know you don't have time to watch TV, and it makes me question my life about how I have so much time to watch TV, but I'm also so jealous of you because you've just seen nothing. And it's like you have so many worlds that are going to open up to you one day when you're when you're like 65 and you're like, I'm going to go watch these classics, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, now I see what Beth was talking about, 40 years ago. Oh, I wish it was going to be 40 years. It's more like 20. Isn't that sad? We'll be 60s in 20 years. Anyway, you're welcome.
What? Why did you just
Because
say that?
I like to bring it weird. Okay. last two, The Glory, which I've talked a little bit about here. It's a K-drama about revenge, and it's so good.
What drama?
Korean drama.
Korean? Okay.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and it's about this girl who was basically tortured by.
You're going to write all these down in the show notes, right?
Yes, they will be in the show notes, so people can have links to all of them.
Okay, great, because that's what I need to use.
Yes. Well, I know you're not going to watch any of these, but I'm very excited for others. But
we're talking about putting a TV in our room. It might be a big mistake.
Yeah, it could be.
We haven't done it yet.
I feel like your hubby's more of a TV guy.
Yeah, he is. But that's why I'm like, the only place that I would actually maybe watch is like once I get all ready for bed and I get into bed, I'm like, okay, I could watch a show now, but I'm not going to go down into the basement.
No.
At that point, to watch a show and then have to walk up the stairs and then go back into my bed. I don't want to do that.
And I think that's the big difference between us, right? Like, because I'm an iPad kid. So I just have my iPad with me everywhere watching shows when I'm cleaning and stuff. I don't even own
an iPad anymore. Our iPad broke and we don't have one.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the tablet watching, if you want to watch stuff, that is key to do it, to actually be able to get stuff done. Because I'm not just sitting at my TV most of the time, just like watching stuff. Like I have my little, like I have Vanderpump on my tablet and I'm just walking around my house cleaning bathrooms and stuff. And then it's just like in the background. Okay. Last but not least, Black Mirror, classic on Netflix. It's
Mirror.
Black
Mirror.
So I think it references the fact that like a Black Mirror is like kind of like your, because it's all about technology in the future, kind of like Twilight Zone technology stuff and how it impacts us and how it is changing us as humans. And anyway, the Black Mirror is like the screen of your cell phone when it's off. It's black. So it's like a black mirror.
Yeah.
And so it's like a mirror, but it's reflected in through technology. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that somewhere. I am going to throw in a last one though, is Doctor Who. I used to love Doctor Who, which it's a British show about this. And it's been on since like the 60s, I think, or 70s. And it's about this like alien who travels the world in like an old police box. So it kind of looks like a telephone box, but it was a police box people would be in, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, and he just gets into all this stuff. And so I watched for years in the early 2000s when it like got rebooted. And then I just kind of got like over it. And then they just like, Disney Plus just picked it up. So there's like 3 new episodes for the holidays that I watched that I loved because I had old characters and it was really good.
Is it a remake with new actors?
It's a continuation. So it's they rebooted it, but it's like this is like they're rebooting it yet again. Like because basically like every time the actor leaves that plays the doctor, he gets kind of remade. But it's part of the story plot. So it's not like it's a whole new series. It's like it references back to old things. Anyway, I watched those 3. I loved it. And then they introduced a new doctor. And so then on Christmas Day, they put out like the new Doctor Who like movie. It's like a mini movie to introduce this new doctor who happens to be this like black guy who, I think he's the first black doctor. They just had the first woman doctor and now they've had the first black doctor. Anyway, it was just so good. It's like, it's geared towards kids. So it's not super high. Let me take that back. Originally the series was geared towards kids, but this is definitely like for grown-ups. Like it has scary elements and things like that, but not scary, just enough to be like, wouldn't want my 5-year-old watching that if I had a 5-year-old. But I just loved it. And it was just like, I'm so excited that they're bringing it to Disney Plus and now I'm going to watch it again. And I'm like, I have 3 great shows to look forward to this winter. I'm so happy.
Yay.
Anyway,
that's great.
What's your one
my one TV show?
You're like, the nightly news. I love it.
No, it is, what is, Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not a new one, but it's the new season that I watched this year.
Okay.
Which was really good.
Okay. I started watching it, but I stopped.
You started watching what?
The last season of Ted Lasso.
Wait, why did you stop?
But I just figured this out. So I have this thing and I didn't realize it was a thing until TikTok showed me my people. And basically it's this phenomenon where you really love a show and you'll watch it religiously. And then it gets to like the last season or the last episode and you just stop watching as a way to like never have it end. And I didn't realize I was doing that, but I was like, why do I have all these shows that I loved and I never finished them? And I was like, oh, that's the reason why. I also do that with some video games where it's like, I'll be on the very last level and it's like the game's going to be done. And I just won't beat Bowser because I'm like, I'm just going to stop now. And then I'm done.
Because you don't want to actually finish it.
Yeah. Like I don't want the fun times to end. So now
but
it just
they
never
are
ends.
ended because you never go back.
No, it's still out there. The stories are still there to be told.
Oh, just finish Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I know. I didn't realize it was a thing until TikTok. So if you suffer from that ailment, let me know. Okay. All right. What do you got?
Can we do books now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so you all know I love books, and I've read a few good ones this year. And so I'm taking a deep breath. Okay. These are in no particular order.
Okay.
They are not in order of preference or...
We know that about you.
Or like, this is better than the other.
Yes.
Okay? They're all very different.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to start with one. The Vanishing Half.
Okay. Never read
Oh my gosh, this book. We had some really good discussions about this book because it's about these... I did talk to you about this. Yes, I did. Because I remember talking to you about how it's these African-American twins
Yeah.
who pass as white.
Yeah.
And one goes down the path of embracing being black, and the other one goes down the path of denying that and pretending to be white.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, such a good book. Really interesting, good. It's written really well. And it's not just about the twins having like a vanishing half, like one of them being a vanishing half. Like there's multiple themes throughout the book about other topics that are also really not necessarily controversial, but sort of.
Okay.
I don't want to do any spoilers.
No spoilers.
But I recommend the book. Okay. It was really good. Yeah.
Okay.
The Vanishing Half.
Okay. My first book, Woman in the Library.
I have that on my list to be read.
So good. I really liked it. I don't want to give anything away because it's written in a really unique style, but it was really great. So if you like thrillers or mysteries or anything of that genre, and if you like things that are like a little bit quirky, I think you'd like it.
Okay. I'm going to put that on my list. Maybe we'll select that as a book club book one day.
I listened to it on audio and the reader was really good too.
Oh, the narrator.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Cool. I listened to most of my books.
Yes.
I read with my ears. Okay. My next one is Mad Honey.
Oh, what's that about?
Oh my gosh. Can't tell you.
Perfect.
Can't even tell you.
What's the genre? Oh.
What's the genre? I don't know. I'm not good at it. This is a fictional, but it's a fiction story, but it's very relatable. It's set in like nowadays. And actually it might have been set like 20 years ago, which is,
it's modern enough. Yeah.
Nowadays. No, maybe it is nowadays. I'm sorry, Beth. I don't know.
It's fine.
Exactly. But we had an incredible discussion about this book in my book club because there is just so much to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So much. And of course, if you read the synopsis on the back of the book, they do a great job of telling you what the book's about. I'm doing a horrible job. I'm not even telling you anything.
I love that.
Although I am telling you that it's a really good book and it makes you think, and I learned things.
Okay.
And I was like, huh? What? Oh, okay. And there was some unexpected things that happened that I was like, I mean, I went like that when I was reading. I was like, wow.
Okay.
What? So yeah.
Okay. For unexpected things. So I have this new author. I've been reading her now just this last year and a half. And I think I've talked about her before. Her name's Geneva Rose. And so her latest book is
I think I read
You Shouldn't Have Come Here.
Did she write the One of Us is Dead?
One of Us is Dead and The Perfect Marriage. So I'm so annoyed because she's newer author. So she doesn't have a huge back catalog of stuff. So now I'm having to wait until she writes a new one. But every one of her books I've liked. Yeah. So I just highly recommend. All of them are like kind of mystery-ish, but really good. And
I did enjoy that book.
Yeah. They're not like heavy reads, but they're fun. Like they're fun reads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my next one is Lady Tan's Circle of Women.
Okay.
And I think I do know the author of this. Her name is Lisa C. I'm pretty sure. We selected her book. It's her newest book. For our book club. We selected it for our book club. It's her newest book. But we have read multiple of her books in our book club. And I have read multiple of her books and I love them. Mm-hmm. All of the books that I've read that she has read. And I haven't read all of them yet.
Yeah.
But this one, I can't remember exactly when it's set. It's set in China like a long time ago. I want to say maybe like 1500s or something like that. But it's about medicine and it's about women's culture back then.
Okay.
And it's back when they were foot binding and it's just fascinating to me. It's so fascinating. And Oh my gosh. And it's about, strong female characters and their relationships and all of that. And it's set in China. It's just, to me, it has all the elements. It's a historical fiction, which is my favorite genre. It's just so good. It's so good. I loved it. I felt like I was immersed in this fascinating world that used to exist, that I knew nothing about, that has so many elements that are still relatable today for women.
Yeah.
Specifically. So,
love that.
Cool. It's really good.
Okay. Project Hail Mary by the guy that did The Martian. It's spacey, sci-fi, mystery, not mystery, but like what's going to happen type of thing. Really interesting. It's very long. The audiobook was really good though. And it's just about what this guy does such a good way of like looking at like what would really happen. Like with The Martian, it was very scientific, right? I mean, as much as it could be for this guy that gets trapped on Mars. But it's like, have you ever read The Martian?
No.
Oh, it's really good. There's a movie that came out too with Matt Damon called The Martian.
I think I'm seeing that preview in my head right now as you're telling me this.
But the book, the guy that wrote it has a science background or is a scientist. I can't remember what his deal is, or maybe he's a mathematician. Can't remember. Anyway, but everything's very feels very logical and scientific, but not in like a gross way. And it's just like, well, you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't feel like, it feels rooted in reality. Like, oh, if we were needing to do this, this is probably how it could go.
Okay.
In a way that's not just like a fake, oh, we made up this fake laser name or a fake propulsion system that, we don't have the physics for that or whatever. So it's just very fascinating.
Yeah.
It's a great story about first contact with life not from this world. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Okay, my next one is Remarkably Bright Creatures.
Okay.
And it is set in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, nice.
One of the main characters is an octopus. You were not expecting that. I know that. And so it's kind of like it's like his thoughts. And he's a character and it's in this aquarium. And then the other characters are the humans who are in, in that world. And it's really about them and their relationships and stuff. But it is really well done. It's really interesting. It was a really good book.
Okay.
I loved it.
It's adult.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yellow Face.
Don't know what that is.
Oh my gosh. It's really good. And it's basically about how this woman appropriates the work of another. And that happens to be Asian. And what that all looks like when you are pretending to be something and embracing a culture that you are not part of and trying to be representative of it. Such a good book.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yellow Face. Okay, I want to read that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm switching categories now. I'm going to nonfiction. I have two notable nonfiction books that I read this year. By the way, can I just say, you seem to have upped your reading game.
Yeah, I've read tons of books this year. I didn't hit my goal. I had a goal of 50. I think I'm going to hit like 38.
I'm impressed.
Up from 3.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure last year was a lot lower.
And the year before that, I think it was 1. So yeah, I really...
I'm curious how many of these books were on your bookshelf that you already owned? Or are we not going to talk about that?
We may have added to the collection by accident. Not my fault because I got gift cards. Most of these were audiobooks that I did not own. So I'm still working my way through. Yep.
Okay. So I have 2, like I said. So one of them, Between Two Kingdoms. Oh my goodness. This book was so good. It was so well written. She's an author. I don't know if she's still writing for some New York journal. I don't know. That's terrible that I don't have any of the accurate details, but she gets cancer and she's really young. And she goes through all of that. And she just shares what that journey was like in detail. And it was really good. Like really good. Yeah. And so I appreciated getting a perspective that I just don't have by listening to her story. And because I listened to the audio. No, what am I saying? I read this with my eyes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, anyway, the other one I'd listened to, the other one that I'm going to mention. But anyways, this one was really, really good. I liked it a lot.
Okay, so I have 2 nonfictions but I'm going to share I have 2 more fictions.
Okay.
So my 2 fictions are The Inheritance Games, which is a YA book about this girl whose life just gets, she gets an inheritance from a wealthy billionaire out of the blue for no real reason and has to deal with the family. It kind of reminded me of, there was a movie that came out with Chris Evans a while back that was like kind of like a mystery where this girl inherits the family's wealth. It reminded me of that a little bit, but very different story. It was interesting. It was good. I didn't realize it was like a 3 or 4 part series. So it's like it ends, but then it's like clearly you need to read the next one. And I was just like, I really liked the first one. I had fun with it. It was a quick read. It was one of those stories that makes you like, oh, I'm going to read after dinner or whatever it was. But I'm like, I think I'm good. The other one was Bright Young Women, and it's by this girl that I think she wrote Luckiest Girl Alive or something like that too. Anyway, it's like goes back and forth, and it's a story about this sorority that has a horrific like tragedy and just kind of the repercussions and how they figure things out and what happens to the girls, and it kind of moves forward and backward through time. It took for me a minute to get into it, but I was listening to it on a plane, which always for me takes an extra minute. But I listened to it while I was like on a family vacation, and I kept wanting to go back to it. So I was like, oh, I must really like this. Yeah. So I very much enjoyed it.
Or you really didn't like your family. And
well, we're not going to say that. I love each and every one of you.
Okay. So my other nonfiction one is All My Knotted Up Life by Beth Moore. It's her memoir.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so good. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. And that one I did listen to. And she just shares a lot about her life that, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know anything really about her life, but I really appreciated hearing about her life, her story, what she experienced and how she got to where she is. And it's really well written. It's really, I love people's stories and I love a good memoir. I'm telling you, I really do. So both of my nonfiction ones are memoirs.
Same.
Love them.
Yeah. So first memoir was Page Boy by Elliot Page, who.
How was that?
It was really good, and they narrated it. And so it was just so interesting hearing their story. Like,
I bet.
I really
That's
like
the one
them
who
as
was Juno, the actor. Yes, the actor for Juno. Okay.
Yeah. And so they are in one of my favorite films ever called Hard Candy. Like, I love that film. And just hearing about their transition was just so fascinating. And like, it gave a lot of insight to me. And I've worked before with kids that are trans. So it was really, it was just such a good, like data point of like, oh, because I don't understand that experience. So it was just a nice way to like have a little bit of a viewpoint into, or a sneak peek into that world and to like what people deal with. And it was just really good. And then last but not least, the best memoir of the year.
Was it
The Woman in Me?
Was it that Britney Spears? Oh my gosh, I have to read it. That's why it's not on my list because I haven't read it yet.
Which I was so excited because Spotify, if you have Spotify, I know you don't, but if you have a paid Spotify, they're now giving away 15 hours of audiobook every month.
I was thinking about maybe switching to Spotify instead of Amazon Music because it's the same price. And then there was a promo.
I love Spotify
for
so much
3 months free. And so many people were doing their Spotify wraps and all that. And I was like, I don't have one because I don't use it.
Yeah, it's so good.
I should switch.
But the book was so interesting, and she didn't narrate it, and I was like, I wonder why she didn't do it. And then I listened to the book. I was like, I could see why, because like reliving that trauma could be a lot. But Michelle Williams did it. She's a slow reader though, so I had to put it up to tick that up a little bit. Yeah. But it was really interesting, and just what this woman has gone through, and like what the industry does to people. I think Elliot Page talks about it in their book too, about the entertainment industry is not kind to people, really not kind to young people, young women, kids coming up. So it was just really fascinating. And, I think it's interesting how much she was villainized, when she was younger, especially with 2 young kids and postpartum and all of this stuff, and people just like coming at her and not so much with the ex and different people. And so anyway, loved it. It was really good.
Okay. I got to read it.
Okay. Do you have any podcasts?
I do.
Same.
Okay. I mostly listen to ours.
Yes.
I listen to the same ones. I listen to ours. I listen to the Popcast. And I listen to NPR.
Okay.
Still go back to Jen Hatmaker's For the Love podcast frequently throughout the year, but not as much. So I did add another one, and I haven't listened to all the episodes yet, but I love this. I love this person who's doing it because I've read all her books. and her name is Micklin Smith, and her podcast is The House Rules, or just House Rules, actually. It's House Rules. And I've listened to a couple of her episodes, and a lot of her content so far is stuff that's in her book, but I like it because it's like reminding me of what I've already read, but it's like good stuff. It's good content. It's about creating a home that, what's her tagline? I don't even remember what it is. It's like more style with less stuff kind of a thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And she's just a really good teacher, and I learned from her. So I really like that one. That's my first one.
Okay. So I listen to us a lot too. Geriatric Millennials. It's problematic. I added a new one this year called Fake Heiress, and it's the Anna Delvey story. So she's this woman that got convicted of fraud, I believe. But the BBC did a story on her, and basically she posed as like a European heiress, and was like conning people out of money, and like being in like she'd just stay in like these really lavish hotel rooms and not pay the bill. And it was just really fascinating. Netflix did like a short-term series last year on her too that was really good. The actress was phenomenal. I should have added that to my TV list because it was so good. But it was just like and it's a real story, and it's just so interesting. And how she like manipulated all these people to giving her, thousands of dollars, and she took someone's yacht for a week, and just all of this stuff that's just so wild. And she got in places and was able to be with the upper echelon of.
Oh my gosh, where is she now? Is she in jail?
She was in jail. She's on house arrest now. So it's just really fascinating, but really good storytelling, really interesting. It was short episodes, which was nice. And they did like kind of like a mix of interviews and like reenactments. So it's just really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes.
Okay. So my other one is, and I may have mentioned this before, my memory's not great. It's the Duolingo podcast. Have I already told you about this?
Amazing.
Oh my gosh. Every year it's on my list apparently. It's so good though. It's really helpful. I'm still doing my Duolingo. I am coming up, getting close to my 365-day streak. And I am telling you, I'm excited about that because we're going to go out for some really good Mexican food.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
To celebrate my 365 days. But because I think I'm at like 335 right now. And I realized that's only a month away.
Yeah. Wow.
I know. So anyways, the Duolingo podcast is great because it's intermediate Spanish, but it's interspersed with English like context. So it helps me just actually know what's going on.
Yeah.
And they're not very long episodes, but they're great stories. And I need to listen to Spanish. And I've like re-listened to them because it's just a great podcast. I really like it. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Duolingo.
Oh, there's a podcast I loved. I've loved it for years. It's called Heavyweights. And it's this guy that tells stories and kind of like helps people to have resolution in their life based on lots of different things. An episode that I listened to recently was like a couple they had their first date in Italy or somewhere. No, Jerusalem. And this was like in like the 80s or something. And they happened to be sitting next to like the guy's estranged father's neighbors. And that lady took a picture of them on their first date. And so they wanted to get a copy of that picture, but couldn't go through the dad. And it was just like this whole thing. And the guy was able to like figure out a way and to get their picture of them that they got taken at a random restaurant like a gajillion years ago. But he does such a great job of storytelling, not like I'm doing right now. But it originally was like on all podcast platforms, and it got picked up as like a Spotify original. So you could only get on Spotify, but now they're back everywhere, which is super nice. And they've brought on another person to help tell additional stories. And so it's just really interesting, and I mean, there's just been really simple ones and ones that are complicated and they can't solve, but, and it's not like they're solving mysteries. It's just like they're just working with people to make connections and to figure stuff out and figure out the why of stuff. Like you run into that person, you have an amazing conversation, you never hear them from again, and you're like, what if?
Yeah.
And they're figuring out the what if and the why. And I really like it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have any more in podcast category.
Oh,
Do you?
I have one more.
Okay.
It's my second podcast called Boozy Book Reports.
Oh, yes.
And I'm super excited because Jamie's going to be on an episode this year. We've decided. I'm excited to see. It's a podcast where we revisit childhood books that we read as kids or came out when we were kids and young adults. And we kind of look back and see what were they about. Do they hold up? And we drink a lot of alcohol related to the book. So it's super fun. So
That's awesome.
It's just a good time. So anyway.
Okay, I have a new category.
Ooh.
And it's just one thing.
Okay.
One song. It's a song.
Oh, okay.
Song that I discovered this year.
Okay.
It's related to what I talked about earlier, which was the Eras Tour, Taylor Swift.
Are we a Swiftie podcast
I think
now?
No, but I am apparently I'm a whatever girly you said, and I'm a Swiftie.
You're avatar
whatever.
Girly, a Swiftie.
Oh my gosh,
a Swiftie.
I don't know what qualifies a person as a Swiftie, but I like her. I like her music, I should say. And she did this song in her Eras Tour on the movie, and probably I guess in her concert or whatever. And I'd never heard it because I didn't listen to a ton of Taylor Swift. I just listened to some of the stuff. But anyways, have you heard the song "The Man"?
I don't know the titles of most of her songs.
Okay, well, I had not, and I didn't know that either. But anyways, I was like, what song is that? And anyway, so I've listened to it since then many times. I love it.
Okay, The Man.
The Man.
Okay.
It's so good.
Okay.
It's so good.
I love that.
And it gets stuck in my head. And I really, so that's like what,
Yeah.
One of the best songs of it was not put out in 2023, but for me,
it was
one of the best songs of the year.
Love that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to listen to some of the podcasts you recommended. And
wait, I'm not done.
Wait, what?
I have 2 more
songs.
No, different category.
What? Oh my gosh, Jayme, this has never happened. Okay.
Whatever. Okay, apps.
Oh, applications for your phone.
For my phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, bring it on.
Of Duolingo. Duolingo.
Oh,
already mentioned it. Yes, I'm paying for the family whatever subscription, so I don't have limits on it. Not that I need a limit because I basically only do 1 lesson a day, which takes me about 2 minutes, but still, it adds up. The other app, you told me about this app.
Okay.
It has changed my life.
Ooh. TikTok?
Nope.
What is it?
The Reminder app.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know this existed. I didn't know how it could affect my life.
Yeah.
I use it all the time now. And I'm just like, hey, I don't want to do it now because my phone's nearby. But I say it, set a reminder, and it does it.
Yeah.
And then I get a reminder and I'm like, what? I didn't have to type anything in. I didn't have to make a list. And I just used this app.
I know.
And it works. And I love it.
Yeah. I remember that day. I was shooketh that you didn't use the Reminder app because you're so busy.
I know. And so I need it.
I love it. I'm constantly hitting it and being, hey girl, you need to set a reminder for me to take this pill or do this or do that. Yeah. Everything. Mm-hmm. My whole life is reminders. And it's if I don't have them now, forget it. I'm done.
I mean, because for me, it's always I need to write it down on my calendar, but I'm not going to write down, take a pill.
Yeah.
I'm not going to write down, water my plants. Well, I do have an alarm for that, but I mean, just as an example, right? My son has these expanders in his mouth. He needs me to crank those things a couple times a week. And I need a reminder for that.
Yeah. I also I have to say, I love it for when you're just at your house and you're oh, I need to get paper towels or whatever. And I can just throw it on the list because I always forget.
Totally.
And I guess there's ways to set it up that it will you can set up a reminder, remind me the next time I'm at Target to pick up this thing, and it'll use your location to pop up for you. I haven't quite figured that all out, but my friend does it and I'm this is genius. I love talking to people about the very simple apps, especially on on the iPhone, because it's I learned so much about reminders. I use Notes. It's probably my top app that I use. And we use it for our show. We use it to go back and forth about stuff because you can share it with other people. I've seen people do amazing things with Notes. I saw this one girl, she takes a picture of herself every day in her outfit. You know how you can do the press and hold and copy, just it cuts out the person now? She'll cut that out, put it in her notes, outfit of the days, so she can see what she wore each day or when she put good looks together.
What?
And that way she has all of her inspo for what do I want to wear? She can go back through and look. And I'm freaking genius.
Wow.
Yeah. There's just, people are so smart.
I know. So are phones.
Yeah. Well, when you know how to use them, Anywho. Okay. But 2023 overall, pretty good. Some pretty good stuff came out. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Again, like I said before, I'm very excited to read some of the books you recommended.
Me too.
And I'm kind of looking forward to what 2024 has to offer.
Me too.
Okay. Here we go.
Yay, life.
If you're enjoying the podcast and would like to support the show, you can share episodes with your friends and family, follow us on Instagram at The Geriatric Millennials, or leave us a positive review and rating, all which help us to grow. Our theme music was created by the Finley Ghost. Check out their latest album now. Thank you so much.